Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate the support. In this one, I wanted to continue in the same way as the video I did earlier about the child-free choice that I've made and many people make nowadays. And I wanted to kind of delineate 4 ridiculous reasons, ridiculous to the extent that I can't even believe people actually make these arguments against being child-free. And so these are the 4 main ridiculous reasons, main reasons I should say. Maybe I shouldn't judge them already, but they're the main reasons people give me why I should have children, or they give me why they're against the idea of me being child-free, or people in general being child-free, right? Or women obviously being child-free. And so the first reason these are 4 reasons I get quite often. So I'm not saying that these are reasons where I'm like, oh, right. Oh, I've never heard this reason before. That's a very new one that you're kind of sending at me. That's brilliant. No, these are 4 reasons that constantly are thrown at me as a reason why I should definitely completely think about having children, because that's the only 4 reasons that I should really be focusing on. Okay, so it's not a very, I'm sure you're going to listen to it and you're going to be like, what, really? These are the 4 reasons? So they're not really well thought out, but they are the 4 reasons. So I want to share it with you, perhaps even just so that you can laugh at it, but also to realize that really people don't think about this as much as they should. When I've thought about it so much, most people don't even think about the fact that, why is she doing this? Maybe she's thought about it. The first reason being, what if your parents didn't have you? Have you ever thought about that? What if your parents had the same idea that, oh, I don't want children, and so what if they didn't have you? And I'm standing there or sitting there thinking, okay, but how would that affect me? If they didn't have me, I wouldn't be here. And so I wouldn't be thinking about it. And so I wouldn't be alive. So what's the point? I mean, why does it matter? I'm not here. And so there's no point even thinking about it. It's like the worst, absolutely ridiculous reason to give to be like, well, you should have children. Why? I mean, it does not make any sense. What is the big deal? What if I wasn't here? What would be the result of it? How would that affect the world in any shape or form? Everything would adjust as the universe does. If there is an empty space or a vacuum, the universe adjusts to fill it. So it would be fine. Also, if you believe in reincarnation, which I do realize that if there is a soul that wasn't born to a particular family, it would be born to some other family. It automatically adjusts itself. There is no like, oh my God, the soul was supposed to be born to this person, but now they've decided not to have children. So of course, they're not going to be born at all. No, that's not how it works, all right? So that's a ridiculous, stupid reason to give for being child-free, all right? So that's the biggest reason I actually get told at for not having children, or against not having children. See, I'm even getting confused by this. The second reason that I get quite often is, what are you going to do if you're old and by yourself? If you get old and you're by yourself because you don't have any children around you and you have no family, no one's going to be there to take care of you. Who's going to feed you? Who's going to take care of you if you're paralyzed? You're going to be in a home. No one's going to come visit you. You're going to be by yourself. And I must tell you, if you've looked at the world recently, and if you know anything about the world, that there's lots of people on the planet right now who had loads of children and who are still alone by themselves in a home by themselves, not being looked at, not being visited, because no one actually gives a rat's ass. All right? So just because you have children, it does not mean, it's not an absolute certainty. Okay, I've had children. Okay, great. I'm never going to be alone again. Phew. And same thing applies to marriage. Just because you're married doesn't mean that you can't get divorced, that the person can't die, that you can't die. There's lots of different combinations and permutations of life. And so just because you've done something doesn't mean that's a guarantee that you're safe and sound. All right, cool. You've had children, awesome. You never have to worry about it again. Once you're old, they're going to be there for you. Maybe, maybe not, right? And so if you're doing it for that particular reason, think again. I know many people in my family circle and my parents' circle who had children with that notion and who are still by themselves because the children don't talk to them and don't visit them ever, right? So that's a ridiculous, redonkulous, crazy reason to be like, oh, well, I don't want to be alone when I'm older. How about you work on building your circle, friend circle? How about you build your community around you? How about you build some really solid friendships, because those people could disappear as well, but at least you have some people to fall back upon. How about you build your own trust in yourself and believe that you can take care of yourself when you're older? How about you build your physical health so you never have to rely on someone else again? How about you build your financial health so you never have to think about relying on someone else, right? How about that? Have you thought about that? That's a huge notion to think about. And so really, it just makes me angry. I'm like, why do I have to rely on anyone else? I can rely on myself. I'll be fine, right? So that's the second crazy, amazing, awesome reason people give me. And I'm just looking at them thinking, really, that's the best you could come up with? I am a little bit disappointed. Anyways, the third reason that I get quite often, and this is a big one, is like, all right, what if you had children and they cured cancer, but now you're not going to have children, so they're not going to be able to cure cancer? Oh my gosh, right? Now that really, I literally stand there and I'm like, wow, my kids are going to cure cancer, and they're not going to be able to because I'm not having that. Oh my God, the scenery of the world has completely changed, and now what am I going to do with my life, right? Again, this is a ridiculous reason again, because of course you're kind of betting on something that might happen in the future, which might not happen, might happen, but you're like, well, I should really have kids because maybe they'll solve all the problems of the future, right? Not only have you already put a huge strain and a huge responsibility on your unborn children that, okay, you're now in charge of taking care of the world, and you're in charge of making sure that we eliminate cancer from the world. So that's the reason I've born you, is that so you can take care of the world, right? Again, you've already put a huge responsibility on them, and they're not even born yet. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that, again, if the child that was supposed to be born to me is not born, according to reincarnation and the soul theory, he or she or they will be born to someone else. And everything's solved. Everything's fine because the universe adjusts itself. The universe is balanced perfectly. And we have nothing to worry about in that regard. I never worry about the fact that, oh my God, my children could have solved some problem in the future. Oh my God. If there's a child that is supposed to be born to me and is not, now they're going to go and be with some other parents who actually want them and will want to have children. And they will solve the problem that way, right? They will cure cancer if they're meant to, or world hunger, or whatever the notion might be, right? So that's the third crazy reason that I get. I just can't believe people would give me such reasons, and I'm just thinking to myself, is this normal? Like, are people actually thinking straight? Because I don't get it. I really don't understand how people can give me such reasons and think that everything is okay. Like, is this really all right? Is this really normal? Is this okay? And so, like I said, so first of all, people are always talking about the fact that, who's going to take care of you when you're older? That's a huge one. I'm sure you've gotten it many times. So that's a big one. What if your genes were meant to cure cancer? Well, what are you going to do about that? What if, what if your parents didn't have you? So that's the third reason. The fourth and final reason that really it takes the cake, is what if your genes die out? I mean, you're meant to procreate so that your genes keep on going forward. What if you don't have children and your genes die out? What's going to happen then? That's going to be a huge loss to the world. I'm looking at them and thinking to myself, there are billions, actually. I would say not billions, millions of people on this planet, really, who have not the best genes in the world, not to be negative or anything, but not the best genes in the world, and they're still procreating and getting on with things. It kind of reminds me of that movie Idiocracy. I'm sure you guys have watched it because literally it's the epitome of this. But I really don't think, in my opinion, looking at myself and my genes and the way I've accomplished things and the way I look at myself, that my genes are really that fantabulous that they really need to be propagated and moved into the future. In fact, I really don't think there's anything special about me. And so really there's no point. I really don't see a point in it. I really don't think there's a difference. And I really don't think there would be a huge deficiency in the world if my genes weren't pushed forward into the future. All right? So really, I don't think that's a good reason. I think it's a ridiculous reason. And so there's the four absolutely amazingly crazy reasons that people are constantly giving me, because they're like, well, you should really have children because, and then they give me one of these four reasons. And literally is one of these four reasons every single time. And I'm, as I said, I'm just standing there thinking, all right, which reasons is going to be, this one, okay, cool. And because I've heard it so many times, I obviously have a response or reply to every single one of these reasons. But really, it's just ridiculous because all these reasons are meaningless, just not useful and not useful ways to think about things, and not something that would deter me from living my life to the fullest as I am right now, right? Child-free as I am. So I want you really to think about, if people are not actually really putting as much thought into it as you have into becoming child-free, you've probably sat down and decided, okay, I don't want children because blah, 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 and you've probably thought about it a lot. And then some other person comes to you, some random ridiculous person, and says to you, you should really have children because, what if your parents didn't have you? And they obviously did not put a smidgen or a moment of thought into it. And then they give you these ridiculous reasons, and you're going to believe them or let them convince you? I don't think so, all right? I don't think it's going to happen for me, and I hope it doesn't happen for you either. All right, I make myself laugh. But really, I wanted to share this because it really just shows to you or portrays to you how the world and most people in the world actually don't think at all, and they just kind of blurt out nonsense, and they believe that they're doing a great thing by using their voice when they actually don't need to. Just keep your mouth shut because you have nothing useful to say. A little bit harsh? Maybe. Maybe I should be. Maybe some people think that about me as well. Why don't you stop talking so much? Well, this is my channel, so I can do what I want. Anyways, all right, I think I'm a little bit crazy today. But anyways, I'm really grateful that you were able to stick to the end and listen to my ridiculous reasons and my ridiculous jokes. If you have questions, obviously comment below. And again, I'm so thankful that you're here. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.